Welcome to Streaming Dialogues, the podcast where insights meet innovation in video streaming. In each podcast episode, we thoroughly explore the ever-evolving world of video streaming. Along with our distinguished guests, we analyze the cutting-edge aspects of both the business and technology in video streaming.
This podcast is brought to you by Jump Data-Driven Video, the unified analytics and personalization platform for video services.
We believe that with the right insights and the right people, we can shape the future of the industry together. So sit tight, open your ears and minds, and let's dive into the world of video streaming.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Video Streaming Dialogues. I'm Jerónimo Macanas. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Jump Data-Driven Video. In this first episode of Streaming Dialogues, I have the pleasure of talking to my co-founder and good friend, Jesús Herrero. Jesús is an exceptional entrepreneur and industry executive who has worked in large corporations like Telefónica or Nokia, as well as in streaming vendors like 24i. Now, he is the co-founder and CRO of Jump Data-Driven Video. Everyone who knows Jesús will agree with me about his energy and passion. And I can tell everyone that he is a smart entrepreneur and media executive. Let's dive into Jesús' history and his views of CES 2024. Hello, Jesús. How are you today? Recovered from CES?
Well, yes, trying to. A little bit of a flu. The weather in Madrid is not really nice, but it was really an amazing show, and I'm getting back to business, yes, this week. So really excited about the new year.
Nice. As you can imagine, it's an incredible pleasure to have you here in the first episode of our podcast.
Thank you very much.
And let's have some fun. So I would like to start with your story, who you are and where did you start, how you end up in streaming, what's been your journey, and who you are as a person as well, and what you like to do. And I want the audience to know you a lot. It's very weird for me ask you this question because I know you from 20 years ago, but I think it's a good question for the audience to know you.
Okay, great. So as probably most of the people in the streaming industry, we're studying something else. First, as a person, I like sports a lot. I used to be a tennis player. When I was young, I wanted to be a professional tennis player. Then, of course, that's not an easy matter. So I started to work. So I studied business administration, did my master's, and started working first on the finance part of the world, and I was working in the bank in auditing. But that was not my thing. So I always wanted to be on technology, I liked a lot movies and cinema, so that's something that was my passion. So I started working first in doing promotions with the newspapers. If you remember back old times when the newspapers gave you movies and CDs with music, and it was for free, or you pay €1. So that's how I started pretty much in the streaming. How it happened? Well, back in the 2000s, streaming started to happen. So we created a company called Press Shopping that it was about doing promotions, digital promotions instead of physical promotions. That was really something that looked really amazing back then. But what happened, of course, as you all know really good, is that piracy back on those times was really, really bad. And everything was web-based. Everybody did everything for free. So people had the feeling that movies and cinema, movies and music was for free. So nobody was willing to pay, let's say, back on those times. But we had a vision that at the end people will end up paying for it. And the thing that changed everything and everybody's mind was device connection and having mobile, smart TVs, iPads, where the apps started to happen. And we all thought that that was a game changer. And it was at the end of the day. But the good thing is we had a vision. So back then, music was really hard to make money with, so we focused on movies, and we had a company that we did together, in which we created a platform to deliver movies through streaming, multi-device connection, basically. And that's how I started in the streaming world. Then after that, I joined a company called 24i Media that we sell apps globally for movies, for D2C streamers, and also for telcos, pay TV operators. And we were really successful. We started being a small company, and we ended up being 300 people globally, and really successful back then. And after that, we created Jam together. That's 7 years ago. It's going to be 7 years now. So an amazing journey. Yeah.
Yeah, this is really amazing. This is not on the script, but why you left a very well-paid job and decided to go with a crazy guy like me?
That's a good question. Yeah, because it's the fun thing, and you always think about fun things other than payroll, and we always like to do fun things. If I wanted payroll, I'll be in a consultancy firm for a long time ago, or a telco. But it's not only about the payroll; it's about the fun. And I thought we were going to have fun together, and I also thought we were going to create something unique in the space, as we did in the past in other companies. So for me, it was not a no-brainer. When you talk to me in London and say, let's do something together, we didn't even know what we're going to do.
Exactly.
But I said, yes, let's go and do something together, whatever it is. So that's how Jab started.
Great.
Yeah.
And here we are. So let's talk a bit about CES. I think this year CES, it's been quite of a ramp up in excitement compared with other CES. I think more media and consumer electronics are more and more linked, and more they need each other. So I heard a lot of nice things about this CES 2024. But could you share your first impressions and general experience of CES this year?
Yeah. So for me, CES, and this year even more than any other year, it has two sides of the coin. You have let's say, the gadget and devices side, in which this happens in the floor, having all these new gadgets, new TVs, new cars, flying cars, all kinds of things, of new things happening. And then you have the streaming and media industry, which normally happens in the hotels, normally in the area. And in the cosmopolitan, you have the meetings, you have the suites, and it's where let's say the business happens, and the behind the curtains on the streaming media.
Behind the scenes.
And the scenes, exactly. So I'm more focused, as you know, in the business, in the streaming media business, of course, linked to technology, but how technology can, how you can leverage technology to improve the business. And that's how we are pretty much had the conversation. So as you said, CES is much merging technology with the streaming to see how you can use technology to improve the business. That's what we all need and we all want. And the conversations went around that. Saying this, of course, as you also know, generative AI and the use of it, it was kind of the main topic. Okay. I mean, there's a flying topic all over the place with fast channels that this is happening. It's been the hype for the last year, but I think it's already, let's say, it's already an old trend, let's say. Of course, people is making business out of it, but for me, it's more business as usual already. And we need to look forward. What are we going to do with technology to improve the business? And this is where generative AI comes into place. I think we all know that this is a new game changer. I was mentioning before with the devices back in the 2000s. I think now today, generative AI is going to change the industry. And how it's going to happen, of course, it depends on all the vendors, what we create to generate this new business, right? But there's things like, I don't know, we will talk later about personalization, but there's how using generative AI is being used to produce content, to generate content, to do subtitles, to generate different audio clips for different languages in a seamless experience, really easy. You don't need to hire people for doubling also the movies. So it's being used for all kinds of things. We at Jump are more positioned on the end part of the story, so how the user is going to experience with generative AI. And we are using it, and many other companies are using it for personalization of the UX, and personalization of the content. And this is where we focus, and my conversations were pretty much around that. So how we can use that technology to improve our business and to at the end improve the user experience. But that is what we all want, that the users have an easier way to access the content, to get personalization, and to navigate through the apps to make it easier for them to to consume content at the end of the day, entertainment. That was my view a little bit on high level.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of hype around Gen AI. It's a truly transformative technology. Yesterday, I was trying a product from a startup that basically it's in the music space, but basically what you can do is you can create an AI-based generative music, very easy, and just explaining what you really want. But for the first time, I saw something that it was impressive to me. That it was directly, once you create this music, these guys allows you to make the distribution through the music platforms. So you can create the music and automatically distribute this music on Spotify or Apple, and you can start to monetize that. So it's like a, I don't know, AI-based music platform that you really can create as much content as you want. And then if that music resonates with the audience, then you are going to make money. Do you think that this is something that could happen in OTT? I can imagine, maybe not yet in fictional, but what about, I don't know, learning, training, courses, something that is really AI-based generated, and then you can distribute directly to Netflix? I don't know. But
yeah, 100%.
And that could be a production company or an OTT company with 2, 3, 5 person maximum, and then you can really can make a business case out of it. Now it's everybody knows that one of the key challenges in our industry is the production cost and how much the content, the really premium content, cost. And of course, it's going to be a long journey until Gen AI can compete with the great minds of our creators. But at a certain point, we will start to see AI-based OTT services that are pretty efficient because they can create content at a scale very fast and very cheap. So do you think that this is something that could happen, I don't know, in the next 12 months or 24 months?
Yeah, well, I think definitely it's going to happen. It's a matter of when it's going to happen, and always doing predictions is not easy. But it's already happening, and this is a little bit the scary part. The story last year about the writers and the scripts. I mean, AI can generate the scripts, and you cannot kind of even differentiate if it was done by an AI or by a person. And the fight that is whether they can be so creative as a person, as a human being or not. And this is why the strike last year about the writers and all these trends that they see, and they're scared because their jobs can be kind of removed from one day to another. And you know how the technology happens when you have a good technology that can substitute the human beings, then that happens from day to night. I mean, it happens really fast if really the technology is compelling, right? So that is going to happen for sure. And I think even we will have services pure AI driven, created by AI, and even generating marketing campaigns to acquire users and to retain them. And this can happen by itself, not in long time from now. What we need to do is to understand how the humans can bring value to that. As you said, maybe 5 people can manage a notice service, but how can that 5 people be really an asset for the company that they will not be removed in the future, because there are a lot of jobs, I don't know, dabbling or translations or things like that if I was them, even journalists, if I was them, I would be looking for what to do in order to differentiate myself, because otherwise, an AI tool would do it for me.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah,
and I mean, and at the end, you need these people with the Gen AI skills that needs to create that company and that content, right? So, well, exactly. You know that you and I are good in making predictions. What we are very bad is in timings.
Exactly.
So we usually predict something that usually happens, but we fail in timings.
Yeah. The set-top box, just another anecdote, but the set-top box $1 billion question, because the other day somebody said in LinkedIn, one set-top box are not going to be there anymore. And somebody said, this is the $1 million question. And then the other one said, no, this is the $1 billion question. Because you and me said in the 2000s, they were going to last 5 years. And we are in 2024, and we still have set-top boxes all over the place.
Exactly.
But at the end, eventually, it will happen 100%. If you see the smart TVs now, that are amazing, you don't need a box anymore. You have a Samsung TV or LG TV, and that runs faster than anything I've seen in my life. Related to set-top boxes. So I don't know. It will
now
happen
that you
eventually.
mentioned smart TVs, one of the hypes in CES 2024, it was this transparent screens from Samsung, I think, or LG.
Yeah,
I think
it was LG. It was LG. And it was
okay.
Yeah, it was LG.
Did you see
for
it?
me, it was, I saw it. It was crazy. It was crazy because you're looking at, you don't understand it until you see it, but it's like looking through a window, so it's transparent. It can be a window in your house, but then after, of course, when you see the images, it's like a TV, and it's really thin, and you can transport it like a picture, so it's
That's
not,
nice.
it's really easy to transport and really, it looks like a window. So for me, it was really a game changer. I love that device. Really
That's
cool.
good. That's good. Let's see where it goes. Let's see.
Let's see.
Okay, let's talk more about because I think these trade shows is around hypes, is around meeting a lot of people and talking about technology. But there's always experiences and things that happen there that comes like a surprise. But do you have any memorable encounters or experiences from the event that you like to share?
Yeah. As you know, many happens, but I'll point a couple of them. One of them is I had this meeting with the CEO of OutTV. OutTV is one of our clients, and OutTV is an LGTBIQ brand that is a Canadian company, but it's having business in the US, a lot of business, but also going global. And it was eye-opening to me with talking to this guy because, as you know, a lot of companies in the industry are having challenges and are fighting hard to maintain their brands there. But these guys were growing like crazy, and they are a Canadian company. Now, of course, Canada is not so big, so they were not that big in Canada. But then they made an agreement with Amazon, and then went to the US, and the numbers were huge, amazing. And this supports the idea that having a niche content, really powerful niche content with a good branding, it's a great positioning for going OTT globally. And the guys have the rights for the world. So they're unstoppable from my point of view. And also all the trend in the world of being intrusive and having all kinds of brands for everybody helps them, in the hype of having a brand that is LGBTI focused. So, I mean, it was a conversation saying, you see, I mean, at the end of the day, being OTT and going global, it was a good move. And when you experience the excitement this guy had about going global with their brand and being successful with all the different, also fast channels, all the different brands like Samsung, like Roku, like Amazon, supporting them, for me was really eye-opening, right? So that was a good encounter. And then another anecdote was, probably you all know Evan Shapiro. He's one of the thought leaders in the industry. So I ran with him in an aisle, going from one place to another, and I say, hey, let's take a picture together. I follow you on LinkedIn. And the fun thing is I uploaded the picture with him, and he also did it. He reshared my post, and I have like 50 followers in 1 hour just after he uploaded the picture. He's so famous in the industry that suddenly my profile went up like crazy just because I took a picture with him. So that was fun. So this is the kind of thing that happens at CES, on a daily basis.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Talking about the first one, we know, because we have several customers in that space, that if you find a right niche audience and you really focus on serving them properly, you can create a very profitable business. And compare with, if you want to compete with the giants like Netflix or Apple or Amazon, it's really crazy, I would say, right? But if you really find the audience, it could be a very profitable business. And if that audience is spread around the world, and as you mentioned, you can create a global brand, it's really a very valid path and a success path. So do you think that we will see more and more vertical needs OTT services that are serving audiences? And how, this is the first question, and how do you think this link with the possibility of the final users combining this vertical niche content with the more holistic and general content businesses? Because at the end of the day, is also a matter of how much money I want to spend, right? So it's not easy because we all want to have the HBO, Netflix, Disney, OTT services, but if on top of that we need to add, I don't know, I like music, you like golf, and we need to add more and more video streaming services, it's kind of crazy. So how you envision that it's a possibility for bundling, for example, I don't know, general holistic services with more vertical and create like packaging, but this is coming back to the old times of pay TV bundles, right? So I don't know. I think we are like with no excuses and no options. And one of my predictions for 2024, if you remember, is that it's going to be huge. The rebundling opportunities that video services will find this year. So how you see this combination?
Yeah, 100%. Going to the last part, 100% is happening. We are like in fast channels, we're going back to TV. I think in the bundling, we're going back to pay TV operator aggregator mode. But I think it's much easier now because you will do your own packages as a user. So as you say, you don't need a pay TV operator to do all the bundles. You can do yourself. That's the pick and choose. At the end, I see two worlds. Probably I see the industry is going towards the mainstream, in which you have the Netflixes, Disney, HBO, and so on. And to compete there, you need a big pocket. And then you have what I see the bigger growth and the bigger potential is on the other side, on the niche content side of things. And it's a matter of rights. And I always talk to my clients: if you have the global rights, or at least fight for the global rights, then you can have a great brand going globally, and it's a matter of doing the good bundles and the good partnerships locally to reach the audience. But I see those two worlds happening and being successful, of course, both of them. But you have to be strong in both of them. And as I mentioned, if you're a niche, I think you have to go global. And then, of course, it will start to happen the bundling on a local basis. Right, it's smart to bundle with a local pay TV operator, with a local big brand. So at the end, it's true that even being global, people like to consume local content. Localization is really key, and it's where you're successful. And it happens to us. I mean, I like to see the news on my city. I like to see golf is global. I don't care. I mean, you need to see global sports, let's say, but on the local content, I like to see local series, local movies, and it's a mix. And this is where the pay TV operators, I think, can play a good role, doing this kind of bundling for the good mix for the users. That's my view.
Okay. Well, you mentioned AI, you mentioned fast, you mentioned aggregation. It's a lot of things. So, what challenges do these new trends present to existing streaming services? Because they need to do much more with less, probably, this year. So how do you think they should meet these challenges? Because it's not an easy task. It's a lot of things to do.
It's a lot of things to do, exactly. So one of the things we also, talk to our clients is, normally the first question we ask them is, which is your main challenge? And sometimes the main challenge is churn, sometimes the main challenge is engagement, sometimes it's acquisition, sometimes it's branding, whatever. So the first thing we do is sit with our clients and say, which is your main challenge? Let's say it's churn. So if churn is your main challenge, then I would ask myself, how can I use Gen AI or technology to palliate this challenge, right? And there's, as you know, there's mathematical models that you can predict churn, you can do things about it, you can retain, you can do actions. So that's how I will focus, the conversation, because there's a lot of things to do. But if you talk to clients, they have different challenges. We have clients almost with no churn because the audience is really loyal to them. Let's say the OutTV, for example. And then we have other clients with huge churn. Other clients have personalization issues. Like I have a huge amount of content, but people is not finding it. So again, same question, how you can use Gen AI or, machine learning AI, so on, to personalize content in a better way. And this is where we are also helping them to meet these challenges, how we can use Gen AI and technology to better personalize, to better search and discover the content, things like that. And there's many ideas over there going on that are really interesting.
Okay. So let's enter into that space. So analytics, personalization, and in your view, how critical is the role of analytics and personalization in adapting to these new trends? AI, fast, you mentioned now churn, that is another big topic, I think, for this year. How important and how critical is data at the end and going deeper analytics and personalization in adapting to these new trends?
Well, this is something that is not that we say it, and that's the reason we created Jump 7 years ago, is that it's demonstrated in the industry, first by Netflix and by Amazon, and also by Google, that using data and using this kind of technology and personalization technology, their brands and their services went up really, really crazy. And they use it from content production to understanding the user behavior, to understand all kinds of KPIs they measure, to create the user experience. They all the time are testing and using data to improve their service in many, many different ways. And being said that this is already demonstrated that using data will improve your business. Of course, we go again to how what challenges do we have and how we can use data to mitigate those challenges. And that's how we focus the conversation. But yes, definitely analytics and AI, using it in the proper way, and there's many ways to use it that are being successful already, will improve your business KPIs. That's my take out of that. And of course, this is a huge, let's say a huge topic, but you can go down one-to-one in seeing what challenge do you have and how you can use analytics and AI to mitigate that challenge. And okay. Every one of the challenges that you have probably has a solution from analytics and AI perspective.
And what's the, in your opinion, what is the secret sauce for being successful? I mean, how should companies in the streaming sector should evolve their data strategies to stay ahead? Because we've been 7 years doing this, that it's not easy, right? So
it's not easy.
What do you think is the secret sauce if it's the first time you are meeting video streaming services and they are not really up to speed with data? What would be your advice in how to start efficiently and how to start this journey? Because at the end, it's a journey.
Right? This is exactly the conversation that we have with them. It's basically the first thing we say. I mean, do you want to become a data-driven company? And if they say no, they have a problem. So normally they say yes.
A huge problem.
They have a problem. Normally they say yes. So when they say yes, then we say this is a journey, and the journey has what we call the best practices in the journey. You have to do certain steps that it's already proven that either you do those steps or you're not going to succeed being data-driven. So for example, I give you an example. One of the first steps that we always do with clients is generate what we call the unique source of truth, which basically, as you know, there's many, many data sources in the industry that you have to pull the data and manage. And this is craziness if those data sources are not connected. So the first thing we do is we connect all those data sources in a data lake, cloud data lake, of course, in which we generate all the information at a user ID level. And that's the first thing we do. And either you do that or you will never be successful being data-driven. And that's kind of the first step. And then, of course, many other steps like generating dashboards, generating KPIs, what data you should be looking at in order to, engage the users or increase retention, acquire more users, things like that. But that's kind of step-by-step thing, because if you start looking at the KPIs, the first thing that can happen is the KPIs are wrong if you are not doing the right things at the first stage. So that's kind of how we approach the conversations when we talk to our clients.
Okay. That's really important, and that's true. I also believe that this unique source of truth, of course, is the first step, and if you cannot avoid that, and with the generative AI, it's going to be the same, because at the end, all these models, really, when you make the most out of it, is when you train these models with your data as well. So you create your generative AI train model, and because of that, if the data is not correct, or the data is bad, nothing is going to happen. It's going to be these hallucinations of the model that
exactly.
really, and then stakeholders will not trust that, and then you as a champion in a big corporation or a small company, it doesn't matter, will not get the right credibility to make this happen. And then is what all these projects really stuck, and then you cannot move. So I agree 100% that with what you said, and that the first step is create this trustability and this unique source of truth where you really can trust your data, and with that you can do a lot of things more in that journey. But that's the first step, and that's not an easy task.
No, 100%. This happens with our clients all the time. I mean, at the end, if the CEO is looking at the data, any dashboard that they're looking, and they see something that they don't trust, or because, I don't know, number of subscribers, number of views, whatever, the most watched content, and they don't feel comfortable what the data is showing, and then they dig deeper into it, and they find out if there's a mistake or something, they will not trust the platform anymore. So and their teams anymore. So it's also a team trust. So if you are if you're in a company that is being data driven, I think your first task has to be build a unique source of truth, and then let's say rely on the data and make everybody rely on it. And once you all agree that data is correct, then start moving to the next step. Otherwise, you will go back and forth, and then and when you lose trust, it's like losing trust in your partner. It's something that you gain trust in years, and you lose it in 1 minute.
You cannot recover that very easily.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not as fancy topic as Gen AI and all these things, but definitely probably the most important. Okay, so moving forward, based on your observations, but of course also on your knowledge and your vision about the future, what are your predictions for this year in the streaming and video services? If you need to bet for 2, 3, or just one, but with a strong opinion, what do you think is going to happen this year?
Yeah, good. So yeah, exactly. Focusing on the streaming industry, that is what we're talking about. From the let's say from the client's perspective, from the brand's perspective, I see what I mentioned. I see probably not many other companies coming there to compete with the big ones. I see more them going together, merging, because competing with Netflix or with Amazon or Google, it's really hard. So you need to put together somewhat brands so they can compete. That's what I see in the big brands, and then a lot of niche content coming and going globally. That's what I see from the brand perspective, and then from the vendor or from the provider's perspective, and from the user, that I think is the key here. What needs to improve a lot, and I think is where I see the biggest challenge, and I think we are all going that way. It's from the personalization and the user experience perspective. And I think there is a lot of things to do there. I give you an example. I mean, there is the biggest challenge in the industry that we have is that there is not a one recommendation engine. There is no aggregation for recommendation engine. You have a Samsung TV, of course you have Samsung recommendation engine, but then you have Netflix recommendation engine, Amazon recommendation engine, Rakuten recommendation engine. So you have like 5 recommendation engines as a user, and then you have also 5 apps to navigate. As a user, the challenge, and probably a key role that pay TV operators are playing, I could play, and I am aware they are trying to do, is be an aggregator, not only from the content perspective, but also from the UX perspective and the personalization perspective. So the user is in one place, searching for content, being recommended, being personalized, and everything together, including Netflix, including Amazon, including everybody. And at the end, I know, for example, companies like Telefónica in Spain is trying to do so, is doing it quite well. I'm a user and then I just now plug in together Sky and Max and Netflix within the same user experience than Telefonica, which is good, and I also get recommendations from them. So I think this is the biggest challenge on the industry, and it's where you can differentiate one brand to another. How you find the content, how it's personalized to you, and that will be a game changer, I think, in the next coming.
That's
coming
another
months.
billion dollar question.
It's another $1 billion question, exactly. Who is going to be the aggregator of aggregators?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's not. It's very challenging, but of course, it's something that we all are demanding as consumers.
Yeah.
Right?
I think it will eventually happen. If you remember, like 5 years ago, you needed to navigate through the set-top box and have 3 or 4 remotes. I remember us discussing about, I didn't even know where the content was. And I have 4 remotes, one for the set-top box, one for Samsung TV, one for the PS3. And I didn't even remember what I was watching the content. Now with the TV, you have like you have even a button for Netflix, a button for Amazon, a button for Rakuten, and it's easier. At least you have one remote, and then it's also the experience is being more seamless and more integrated. So I think it's already evolving, and it will evolve to the Optimus world. We think is where you will navigate through one place and have everything together, no matter who is providing the content.
Yeah, very interesting. I like to look at the music industry because in some way the movie industry has been following the steps, right?
Yeah.
So in the music industry, what happens is that there is one big player or 2 big players, Spotify and Apple. And then everybody is there. So they have fixed that challenge, right? So
Exactly.
You don't need to go to different services to look for different artists. Almost everybody are in both platforms. So one of the guessings that you could do is would Apple, for example, try to do pretty similar thing with the movie industry, because maybe they can buy Netflix. They have the money
Google,
for that,
or Google,
and they can try to aggregate all the rest of the studios that, by the way, they are not making money, so they are kind of thinking what they should do in the streaming world. And maybe we will end up in a kind of similar situation that we are with music. So you just need to go to one service and everybody's there, right?
100%. And if you remember back some years ago, we thought about creating the Spotify of movies. And we thought it was going to happen, but it didn't happen yet. And still, I still wonder why. Because it's because of what you say. It's because of the music industry were kind of lost, and they decided to go together. But still, in the movie industry, they're making some money, so they still want to preserve their brand. But I think it will eventually happen. Either a big one will buy these companies, or will merge them all together to offer like the Spotify of movies. And from then everything is easier. As you see Spotify, everything is integrated. You can, you have a better experience, a better personalization, an amazing, let's say, personalization with Spotify that is not even close on the movie space. So 100%.
There's just a few companies in the world that really can make that, and by the way, are all tech companies, not
exactly. The 3 big ones.
media companies. So it's
they have the resources to make it.
Yeah. Okay, let's move into the final block, that it's about the Jam's perspective about all of this. So from Jam perspective, how are we preparing to embrace these future trends? What are we doing, or how do you think is our strategic approach towards these innovations into our services? What are we doing to meet the challenges and help the industry and contribute as an innovative company and tech vendor to make these things happen and help our customers with that?
Yeah, that's a great question. As you know, I mean, when we started the company, we were blind, and we created a product that we tried to push it to the market. And during the first 2-3 years, it didn't happen that successfully. Now we learn to listen to the market and to the challenges. And now, with our experience, after listening to the market the last 3 years, and mainly the last year, which was challenging for everybody, I see what I mentioned before. I see 3 big challenges that need to be mitigated with data, and I think that Jam can help. The biggest challenge, I think, is when the subscription service is churn. now churn is bigger than ever because, people is starting to quit with some services because of, the challenges, macroeconomic challenges and things like that. So churn, it's a good big issue. Then personalization is another huge issue. I mean, companies spend billions of dollars in producing content, and then the content gets stuck in the back cataloging somewhere, and nobody sees it. So personalization is a huge issue. And then the third challenge is UX experience. Also, what I was mentioning, you don't need how we can help, navigating easier. You don't need to go through 5 different apps to find the content. How we can, do a stream personalization, like we say, like I get to my app and I only get offered the content that I like, golf and movies and news, something like that, not all kinds of content that I need to navigate during half an hour and I get frustrated and leave the app. So that's the 3 challenges that I see in the industry, and how Jump has different modules to help our clients mitigate these challenges. And we are going to focus on personalization, UX experience, and churn prediction.
That's really cool. It's going to be definitely a fun year, and that's true. I wonder how, and we are working on it. I mean, we don't really have solved it yet, but I can really envision that the only way that fast channels can be successful is if the personalization and the user experience are being delivered right. That's
another challenge. That's another challenge.
So yes, it's a lot of challenges to meet, and that's a good thing about being in technology, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, and another good thing we are doing, and it's been really, really successful in the market, is we have created our own marketing agency, and the reason for that, we didn't want to do that, but the reason for that is we see companies investing huge amount of money in data. We were talking before about the journey. Of course, you have to do the journey. That's key. Then once you have the data, let's say structured in the nice way, what do you do with data? And we see a lot of companies investing a lot of money in data and not doing anything with it. And at the end of the day, that's losing money. That's throwing the money to the garbage, let's say. So we are encouraging them to do something with data. And since we know pretty good how to look at data, let's say from the KPI perspective, from the business perspective, we are doing suggestions, we are doing actions, we're doing promotions, and we are encouraging them to say, listen, guys, you have all these inactive users, or this churn rate went up by 5% last month, or your engagement metrics are really low this period. Let's do something about it. And we are doing promotions and actions on behalf of that. And it's been really successful. We have clients already helping them more than 2 years with data and actions, and they love it because we show the value. It's easy to say, guys, we did a win-back campaign and we improved the win-back ratio by 50% doing this action. And those numbers are killing. For them, it's really like gold. We call it gold, to go internally with this.
I like that example because actually is if you remember, it's from yesterday actually. So we received a campaign results for a customer that I will not mention because I plan to invite him to tell us the story. I think it's really amazing, and launching win-back campaign and really recover 50% of that segment is impressive. And so yeah, it really works. And when you combine marketing plus AI, personalization, data-driven analysis, these things could happen, and you can make an incredible ROI out of it. So, okay, let's finish with that very good use case and example.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that it's not gonna be the last time that you will join the podcast. Even at some point, you will need to make a host as well. So thanks a lot, Jesús, and let's keep rocking.
Thank you for the invitation, Jerónimo, and let's keep rocking together. Exactly.
Bye.
Bye.
This podcast is brought to you by Jump Data-Driven Video, the unified analytics and personalization platform for video services. For more information, please visit www.jumpdatadriven.com.
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you liked it, please subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. to stay updated on new episodes. See you soon.